Please open in your learning workbook to page 130 and read along as we learn together. Section 8.5, Quadratic Functions and Their Graphs. Parabolas. The graph of a quadratic function of the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, or equivalently f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, is called a parabola. It opens up or down depending on the sign of a, up if a is positive, down if a is negative. Some parabolas open left or right, but they are not functions and will not be discussed in this class. When a quadratic function is written in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c form, we say that it is in standard form. Another useful form is the vertex form, y equals a parenthesis x minus h close parenthesis squared plus k, where the vertex can be read from the equation as h comma k. The equation of the axis of symmetry is the vertical line x equals h. The value of a determines the shape of the parabola. When a is very far from 0, whether positive or negative, the parabola is narrow. When a is very close to 0, whether positive or negative, the parabola is wide. Identify the values a, h, and k of a parabola in the vertex form. Recall that the value of a determines the shape of the parabola. It does not matter where the vertex is. To find a, note that it is the number multiplying the squared part of the equation. For example, the following parabolas all have an a value of 3, but each has a different vertex. The number multiplying by the squared part is 3. The number multiplying by the squared part is 3. The number multiplying by the squared part is 3. All three of these parabolas have the same shape. To determine the h value of a parabola in vertex form, rewrite it if necessary so that there is subtraction in the parentheses. Note that h is the number being subtracted inside. Now, you might have noticed that this is in bold text in the learning workbook, and the word subtracted is even in red. So we want to pay special attention to this fact. It's worth repeating. H is the number inside the parentheses being subtracted. Now, as far as finding k, k is the number being added or sometimes subtracted outside the parentheses. Putting this together, the vertex h comma k can be written using the values of h and k. Let's look at a couple of examples. Consider the parabola y equals 5, parenthesis, x minus 2, close parenthesis, squared plus 9. The number being subtracted inside the parentheses is 2, not negative 2. If you pronounce this out loud, you would say x subtract 2. So what did you subtract? 2. So what is h? 2. The number being added outside the parentheses is 9, so that's k. So we have h is 2, k is 9, and therefore the vertex of the parabola is the ordered pair 2, 9. Now consider a parabola y equals 3 parenthesis x plus 1 close parenthesis squared minus 8. There is no subtraction inside the parentheses, so how do we determine h? We rewrite x plus 1 as x subtract negative 1. Then the number being subtracted is negative 1. X subtract negative 1. What do we subtract? Negative 1. So h is negative 1. And k, the number outside, is negative 8. So therefore the vertex of this parabola would be negative 1, negative 8. We will now complete several problems where the entire focus and goal of the problem is merely to determine the value of a, h, and k for the parabola.